Okay, guys, let's talk about some of the myths that go about with the changeup. We're going to talk about myths about grip, and also probably the biggest myths, as we alluded to in the intro video, is that there's this thought that a changeup we have to slow down to throw it. And that's an absolute myth. So when you'll see also in the throwing of the changeup segment of this product, you will also see that how important that is and why these myths are just kind of really ridiculous when you think about them. So let's talk about the first myth is pushing the ball back in your palm. Well, number one, all right, so if we're going to throw this ball and we're going to set up even with perfect mechanics and we're going to release the ball, so we're going to, when we get into mechanics, we're going to talk to you about getting a consistent release point. Now, we hit that consistent release point, then the ball is going to roll off of our fingers and kind of float up. To me, when that ball starts to roll off of our fingers and float up, that ball is just going to kind of... Now, you might get a change of speed, but you're also going to get a change of direction. Your ball's going to go this way, and then it's going to go that way. Okay? So laying the ball back in the palm is kind of a lazy man's way to change speeds. You're never going to be able to control that pitch. You're never going to get movement. You're never going to get a consistent change of speeds. It's just a lazy man's way to slow down the ball. Slowing down the ball is not changing speeds on the hitter. That's just slowing down the ball. So throwing a changeup is not a bad fastball. It's a changeup. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is slowing your body down, that somehow you will have a delivery that's slower. The Rod Dedeaux Baseball Institute probably nailed this perfectly when they talked about the pitcher's timing signature. And I believe in this wholeheartedly because we've backed it up with our testing at Pitching DNA, our motion analysis company, where pitchers kind of need to go at a certain speed. So could you imagine Pedro Martinez, a really kind of fast thrower, or Justin Verlander slowing his body down to throw? I mean, it's kind of even a weird thing to think about, that you want to slow your body down. In fact, especially at even some lower college, but high school and youth, do you know what a difficulty it is to have consistent, repeatable, reliable mechanics? It's really, really difficult. Forget about the fact that now you want to slow it down. Right? Now, slowing down your body might somehow slow down the ball, but again, now that's just bad fastball territory. A changeup is a changeup. It's not a slower fastball or a bad fastball. Okay, so slowing down your body is really kind of horrible is the word that comes to mind, because it's just so inconsistent with what everything else we're trying to teach with pitching. And again, it's just going to give you a flat change, slower fastball. Now the same thing with the other myth of dragging your foot, that you will drag your foot and somehow that will slow it down. That's going to do the same thing. It's going to give you a bad, slow fastball over the plate. Bad, slow fastballs over the plate tend to get hit country miles. And the other problem is that what that pitcher, the coaches that instruct that way with dragging your foot, is that they don't understand that once the front foot comes down, weight pretty much shifts from the back foot to the front foot. And it's all kind of on the front foot. In fact, if you look at most pitchers, especially like Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Clemens, if you look on the cover of our book, The Picture Perfect Pitcher, you'll see Randy Johnson. His back foot is off the ground at release point. It's way off the ground. Pedro Martinez is like way up here at release point. So they're not understanding the sequence of your mechanics. That your mechanics, once it goes through the front foot, from the back foot to the front foot, that energy starts coming up the body, and that's going in sequence, in a pattern. Now all of a sudden, if we're going to say, drag your foot, we're going to keep our foot down, we're number one, disrupting the natural flow, but we're taking energy that should be going into the ball up here, and now we're putting that energy back here to drag. So it's just silly. Makes no sense. The pitching coaches that instruct that have no idea of the role of how the weight transfers from the back foot to the front foot and how that energy then translates up through the body through each of the body parts. So forget that one too. The last one is pulling the shade, where they say like you would pull the shade down and pull it down too. Is this like a combination of palm ball and slowing the body down. It's like the perfect storm of foolishness. Because if I'm going to, again, you're just throwing a bad fastball. So I'm going to come down, and now I'm going to get to this consistent release point, and then pull down and release that ball. So think about what's going to happen if I pull down. I'm loving this wire. we're gonna get a wireless mic here, I promise, at Reddick Baseball. So one of the things that when I pull the shade, and I'm slowing down, what's that ball gonna do? It's just gonna kind of float, and I don't like things that float around the strike zone. They become souvenirs. So I hope that will debunk a lot of the myths, and when you really think about them, they're just really silly. So I hope this will go a long way to helping you avoid some of the silly teaches that are out there, and